Surprise, take me so high, jumping those dives, surfing the crowd. Said I gotta be the
That
man
was
of the head of
for
my
Pete
family.
and Peter Andlinger, because he said, you can't go up there with notes. I said, don't worry, I won't be using them. So they're, if you see me scrambling, you'll know why. So let's go back to your graduations. How many of you remember walking across the stage to get your chiropractic degree? Great. So you walked across the stage, you took a nice picture with a diploma, with the president or the chancellor, whatever school you went to, and then you came down, you sat in your seats, and they said, students, turn your tassels. Chiropractors, welcome. At that moment, you had an awesome responsibility. You had a responsibility not only to your patients, but to your community, but most importantly, to your profession. How many of you realized it then? And if you had spouses with you, hate to say this, but ladies or men, you kind of switched your tassels too, because you had a responsibility as big, or if not greater, than the chiropractor. I've always felt that. At life, at every graduation, the last words, one of the last words from the president is to the new chiropractors, today is a day of celebration. Go out, be with your family, be with your friends, party, celebrate, because tomorrow you have work to do. We all have work to do. And at New Beginnings, our mission is so simple. New Beginnings' mission is to preserve, protect, and perpetuate the profession that we love for our children and our children's children, and so on and so on. And how many of you feel that in your hearts? Because that was what we sat down and we sat and came up with the right wording, keeping it simple and precise and heartfelt. And we all believe that here. And I think I'm speaking to the choir because that's why you're here. I'm sure that's why you're all here. But right now, we have a little bit of a crisis going on in the world. I don't know if you've noticed that. Things are not quite as copacetic as growing up in chiropractic as I thought. You know, in the early years, kind of fought some battles, but then there was kind of like a nice, easy pace, and life was good, and things were working out great. Our kids were growing up in chiropractic. They weren't vaccinated, and there was no problems with that. Our school nurses used to let us know if there was something going around, but we never had a problem, and we just kind of cruised through. Well, today, look at the world. Australia, you'll be persecuted if you were just a baby under 2. I mean, I know someone that lost their license. Other chiropractors were going to go to jail. A woman who wrote, Jen Barham-Floriani, wrote the best book. And they don't want her selling it, that book. Canada, same thing with kids. What is it about not adjusting babies? I don't get it. I don't get it. And techniques, in Canada, there were techniques that are illegal. And if you happen to do one of those techniques, if that's your specialty, you can't let anybody know, because they will suspend your license. Peter evidently is on the front pages of newspapers, and I'm sure it's not because he's the best chiropractor in his town. Liz Anderson Peacock, the same thing. She spoke about it last week in Montreal. She's on the front page of newspapers, and not because she's an amazing chiropractor. What's wrong with this picture? In Europe, things are totally crazy. The World Federation of Chiropractic. I'm not even getting into it. It's way crazy for me, and a little above my head, actually. And back in the States, we're dealing with drugs. I mean, it started in New Mexico, right? We kind of squashed that down, even though I spoke to people who said, you know, I'm not going to get involved. Universal will take care of that. We'll just go about our day and we'll take care of our patients. But man, if people didn't step up and call those senators and write letters and protest, that bill could have been passed. And then what would have been the next state to allow drugs? Right now, there's a crisis, and we're living in it. And what are we doing for it? What are we doing? You know, I need the clicker, which is right here, and it's not working. Aha. What's happening is the world, the outside world, is trying to bury us. But they didn't know that we were seeds. So they bury us, And then they fertilize us. How do they fertilize us? They get us mad. They get us angry. They think they're squashing us, and they don't know that they're making us crazy to do something to save our profession. And then they try to drown us. Give us more water. We're going to win this fight. And we're working so hard, but how many of us are staying in our offices, doing the things day to day, and saying, don't worry, the organizations will take care of it. Now, I don't need to get involved. My state organization is taking care of that. Don't worry about that. This organization, that school, this school. You know, we need to stand together. It's time to give up all the little differences because, tell you what, we are the minority. The way we believe in chiropractic, if you take all the chiropractors in the world, we're like this little bubble, and then there's everybody else. And they're all coming in like this at us because they stand for everything that we don't want, and they stand together because they don't want it so bad. And we're so busy with all the different factions that we have. Oh, and if you're just below C1, you're not good enough, or if you were just below C2, or if you don't do this technique, or if you believe in this, or if you, we're so busy fighting with each other, even though we want the same things, that we're not standing strong. It's time to give that up. It's time to fight the good fight. You know, at Life, we have a tribe, and it's called Life Force. We created Life Force years ago, probably, 10, 11 years ago? And the whole reason behind it was that we wanted our chiropractic to survive. So our mission is that we will not stop till every man, woman, and child has access to a chiropractic adjustment or an education if they so choose. Shouldn't that be everybody's mission? Shouldn't that be bigger than life? It should be. It should be that we're all out there doing the same thing. We have 1,000+ docs just at Life. How many other schools are there that believe what we believe around the world? I'm not even talking just in the United States. Why can't we fight this thing together? You know, the crisis is real, and it hits home really hard. Right now at home, last week we were in Montreal, so we heard from a lot of speakers, and Dale Bigtree was there. And he spoke about the vaccine crisis. And at the very end, he talked about this little county in New York, called County, where the measles were everywhere, evidently. And they had a state of emergency. The county supervisor, the county executive, declared a state of emergency where no child under 18 could go to school if they were not vaccinated. They could not appear in public places if they weren't vaccinated. So now, of course, people are asking, like, how do you control that? He goes, well, except for the schools, we really can't enforce it. But it's bringing awareness so everybody will get vaccinated. You know, I fought the vaccination fight years ago. I was standing up with a stupid little spiral-bound book called The Poison Needle. And I was, before I even had kids, saying, they're bad, they're poison. Read the book. They didn't have a lot of research back then, but man, it was good enough for me. And so I fought that fight. I fought it I helped a woman who was brought to court being sued because half of her children weren't vaccinated. She won the battle. I thought it was smooth sailing, and evidently it wasn't. So Dell's talking about this, and I walked up to him after, and I said, I need to get back into this fight. I can't stand by anymore. We have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And not that vaccinations are chiropractic, but it's our lifestyle. If they start taking away what we believe in, what are they going to take away next? Are they going to take away your right to adjust? Babies under 2 or under 12 or senior citizens? What are they going to do? So in my head, I said, I'm done. I'm back in the fight, whatever it takes. Do you know, I went home, and the next day I got a text from one of my daughter Morgan's ex-patients, and her daughter is not vaccinated. And she was panicking. She didn't know what to do, because she did not want to get her vaccinated. But now her child's out of school. I got a phone call from a chiropractor whose child is out of school. I got a text and then a phone call from a chiropractic wife who wants to meet with a senator in Pennsylvania because she's not going to sign any waivers about like not being vaccinated. She didn't want to be in and what is it called? I can't think of the word, but they're keeping records on everybody. So she didn't want to be part of that. And she was like, damned if I do, I won't. So all these people start calling me, and and I actually got to know Del Bigtree's manager, and he said, anytime, you can tell anybody to call me. So meantime, I'm setting people up with them, and I'm saying and I keep telling them, you know what? Just believe the universe has the cards stacked in our favor. The universe has the cards stacked in our favor. Just have a voice. Don't back down. Have a voice. I just got a text from Meredith, Josh's wife. A state judge just temporarily lifted that emergency, that ban on children going to school. And that judge happened to be the father of somebody that Josh went to school with when he was a kid. I mean, it's a small world. Now, it's not permanent, but maybe it is. Universe always, always, always has the cards stacked in our favor. But we can't sit back. We can't sit back and say, okay, universe, take over for me. Because you need to put the work in. You need the action steps. What are you doing besides taking care of your patients to ensure that chiropractic is secure, it's preserved, it's protected for our lifetime and our children's lifetime? It's a lot more than taking care of patients. We have work to do. You have work to do. You have work to do. We all do. And when we band together, it makes it that much easier. I was brought up basically in chiropractic from the time I was 21. It's been my life. I don't know anything else. If they took that away from me, I don't know what I'd do. If I hadn't found chiropractic, I don't know if I'd be alive today. Yeah. Honestly, I could tell you I don't know. I don't know about you guys. What was your life like before? Where were you before chiropractic? Some of you were lucky enough to be born into it. And I really, really love that we can bring our children up in chiropractic. But some of us weren't so lucky. And we know the other side. I don't want to go back there. I never liked it to begin with. I was always looking for that something different. And when we found chiropractic, I said, oh my God, I'm home. I found what I've been looking for like 20 years, 21 years. I'm not willing to give it up. I'm not willing to compromise. I'm not willing to have them take away what is rightfully ours. And it's our freedom of choice. That's what's scary. They're taking away our freedom of choice. I don't know in other countries, but I know in the United States there's a Bill of Rights. They're challenging our rights to freedom of our choice and how we choose to bring up our children, how we choose to live, and what we choose to do with our bodies. I'm not willing to sit back. I hope you're not either, because there is a dark side. And he's spoken to me. And we're going the other way. Aha. And it was the devil. The devil whispered in my ear, you are not strong enough to withstand the storm. Yeah? Right. I whispered in his ear today, I am the storm. I am the storm. And I am going to be a tsunami if I need to be. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you going to be the storm? Are you going to go out and make a difference, not only to your patients and your communities, but for our profession? It's time. We need to start moving now. We can't sit back and wait a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, until everything starts to fall apart all over the world, and we watch it happen. It's like the domino effect. One domino, the next one, and all of a sudden, all the dominoes are down. And then where are we? Be the storm. Be with me. Be with New Beginnings. Be with your communities. Bring your friends, all of your colleagues. Tell them we need to stand strong. This is bigger than we are. Put all your differences aside. Put your egos aside. This is about time we take control. I hope you're with me. I'm not backing down because I am the storm. Thank you very much.